Hello, photographers. Today we'll explore the essential rules of composition in photography. These are simple tools photographers use to help make their pictures interesting and visually appealing. Composition is the arrangement of elements in your photo or artwork. Good composition guides the viewer's eye and helps your photo tell a clear story. These rules are guidelines, and practicing them will help make your images more powerful. By the end of this video, you'll know how to use the rule of thirds, leading lines, fill the frame, close-ups, frames within a frame, depth of field, symmetry, and simplicity. Let's jump in. First, we will look at the rule of thirds. Imagine your image divided into 9 equal sections with 2 horizontal and vertical lines, kind of like a tic-tac-toe board or a hashtag. You can turn on this feature on your smartphone or camera. It might also be called the grid. Place the main subject or the most important elements of your photo along the lines or at one of the intersection points called points of interest. For example, here, the photographer positioned the machinery at the bottom left point of interest. The rule of thirds helps create balance without making the photo look static. It creates visual interest by guiding the viewer's eyes naturally through the image. It also implies depth and tension, since off-center subjects feel more dynamic. Leading lines are natural or man-made lines in a scene that draw the viewer's eye toward the main subject, like roads, fences, rivers, or shadows. In this photo, the men are standing in the bottom right section of the photo and are pointing up and to the left. This creates movement in the photo. Leading lines are a great way to move the viewer's eye around the page and keep them engaged in your photo. Here, we'll look at the compositional rule of fill the frame. Filling the frame means getting close enough that your subject occupies most of the image. This removes distractions and emphasizes detail and emotion. Photographers use this technique for bold portraits, textures, or patterns. In the example photo, the wood is creating a pattern. You can also crop your photo after it is taken to help frame this technique. Close-up photography reveals small details that we often miss. It can transform ordinary objects into dramatic images. It is similar to fill the frame, but with close-up images, you are trying to capture details of an image. In your construction photography, this technique would be best for showing a construction technique like joining 2 pieces of wood together. To capture a close-up shot, you can use a lens that allows close focusing, or you can move physically closer. Remember to watch the lighting because small subjects need good light to show detail. In this next example, frame within a frame uses elements in the scene like doorways, windows, branches, or archways to frame your subject. This creates a focused area and adds depth. Look for natural frames when scouting your shot. You can also combine this technique with the rule of thirds and place the framed subject on an intersection. Next, we will look at depth of field. The depth of field is how much of the photo is in sharp focus. A shallow depth of field keeps your main subject sharp while blurring the background. A deep depth of field keeps most of the scene sharp and in focus. If you're using a phone, tap to focus or try portrait mode for a shallow depth of field. If you are at a construction site, this rule would show off the beautiful landscape of Montana as well as the site you are at. Symmetry as a rule of composition in photography would work really well for framework in construction. It would showcase repeating patterns and create strong, pleasing images. Symmetry may be horizontal, vertical, or radial. You could also show symmetry by photographing a reflection in still water, a symmetrical building facade, and a repeating tile pattern. Break the symmetry by including a small asymmetrical element for contrast. The last compositional rule we will look at is simplicity. Simplicity means removing distractions and focusing on one clear subject. A simple background, limited color palette, and uncluttered composition strengthen your message. You could show a subject against a plain sky or a single color wall. You could also use negative space intentionally, which can emphasize the subject. Composition takes practice. Use these rules as tools to make photos tell stronger stories. Look for composition in everyday life, advertising posters, magazine photos, and movies. Notice how professionals guide your eye. Remember, once you understand the rules of composition, you can break them intentionally. The rules of composition are a guide, not a law. So have fun taking photos and experiment with the rules of composition. You can use them together to create even more dynamic and interesting photos. I hope this video is helpful. Thanks for watching.